Okay, mental transference skills. So when you're developing mental transference, there's several stages to get good at mental transference. Initially, it's just transferring your mental body into a different shape. So you put a crystal in front of you, or let's say this cup. I hold the crystal or the object, and I get a tactile sense of feeling for it. And as I physically touch and feel the object, I let my awareness take on what I'm feeling, and until I become the object. That my mind is taking the shape of the crystal, the cup that I'm holding in my hand. And once I've got that, my mental body is able to take on the shape of it. Then from the shape I go into the temperature, the textures. I visually look at the object, and then let the mind take on visual qualities, tactile qualities, the roughness, sound qualities. When you rub your finger on it, what sound does it make? When you tap it, what sound does it generate? And the mind, the mental body, starts to resonate in resonance with the object the more information and feedback you get. So that's your first step, is getting the spirit senses to start paying attention to something and taking on the shape of it and absorb that information. The next thing you want to do is build a connection between you and the object. So you vital breathe into the object and put some vital energy in. And what that does is it allows your mind to stick more, and your physical body starts to disappear, and you become the object. The intensity increases of letting go of your physical sense of self. And as that happens, and you're still holding the object, so you're still feeling it, but most of your mind is now in the object and not in you. You're not self-referencing anymore, you're object referencing. Then you're at the stage where you can put the object down, breathe into it, and then just let your mind rest in the object. And you want to practice that until your physical body disappears and all that's in your awareness is the object. Then investigate it further. Hold your concentration, minimum 2 minutes of uninterrupted concentration. You want to build it to 15 minutes, 45 minutes, and so forth as you go up, but 2 minutes is the minimum. Now you take this object and you put it several meters away, you look at it, and you begin charging that object up, and breathing into the object, mentally transfer into it, and hold your mind in it several meters away. It's still visually in range, but you're getting a good 5 meters distance. Repeat. Get to the point where you're in union with the object, you feel that connection to the object, and your sense of self disappears. You are that object. Then place the object in a different room. So you take it from being able to visually see it, you move it in a different room, you go back to your meditation place, sit down, put your mind in the object in the next room, and then repeat the same process. You vital breathe into it, your mind absorbs into it, you lose your body, you lose your sense of self, you lose I am me, you just become that object in the next room. And because you vital breathes into it, you're building a matrix between you and the object, which allows you to hold and maintain concentration on the object. Okay, so this is your basic mental transference skill. It also gives you a platform for mental wandering skills. From that object, you can pay attention to the object and look around the room in the next room. You may open a book right next to the object that you haven't read before, and from the object, you look at the book and read it, and develop the mental skills of visualization and so forth in the mental body. So all these little branches you can extend off into. From that platform, you look at, okay, you want to amplify psychometry. So from here, you're in the object, and you just start relaxing and separating. You open the matrices of the object. So in our basic Qigong classes and our basic Hermetics classes, we have identifying the matrices and opening the matrices, how to demagnetize a person's relationship to themselves. So you take away the balance, and their mental space expands, their astral space expands, their vital space expands, there's a little bit of floating, their spirit senses become heightened. You want to do that inside the object. And what this does allows you to get an energetic perception of who's touched it, where it's been, where it came from. All these other layers of information start revealing itself about the object. So this is basic psychometry. If you don't open the matrices, you can't read the information. You've got to open the book to read the words. And we open the book through opening the matrices. This is what gives you access to the information field contained in that object. Your next stage from there is looking at information inside of teachings. So let's say you're Buddhist and you read about the Triple Gem or precepts or the 10 Perfections or one of the Dharmas, and you read a paragraph on it, and whenever you read something, you get an impression, you get an idea in your mind, you get a feeling about it, but there's not always 100% clarity. What does that actually mean? So you feel it, now you unpack it. You relax the matrices apart on the idea, and as you separate the idea and pull it apart, you have these components. You have the mind qualities of it, the astral group consciousness belief structures about it, and then you have this physical egregore of energy that's formed from the astral, and this is how it affects the physical tradition of the manifestation of that religious idea. And what you're most interested in is not that. You want to go right up to the pure dharma or lawfulness of that. So as you're releasing these matrices away, the spirit senses, the more refined part of the consciousness, will just see it for simply what it is, the lawfulness of that particular teaching. So you drop off the lower belief structures, the academic views, and you go to the perception or insight into the lawfulness of what you're looking at, and drop those lower layers off. You get those impressions, and then you write those impressions down. Why do you write those impressions down? Well, it's very important to generate a personality profile within your physical unconscious and astral personality unconscious, which connects to the insight mind to say, I want more of this. I want to use these protocols to unlock dharmas and universal knowledge into my general experience in life, so I can see reality through lawfulness, not reality through emotional investment. And writing it down signals the unconscious the way that you want to start perceiving reality, through the insight mind, not the egoic mind. So you journal it, and you journal the process of how you got the results, and you highlight the individual important points of that process of how you got the results, and then you repeat it to get more of those results. Now, let's say you're in meditation and you interact with a spiritual deity of some type, and you may be at Pilat up the mountain, and there's all these beautiful statues of different Buddhas and Devas and nature spirits, and you sense one of them in the space because there's a lot of them there. It touches your field of consciousness. You get a sensory perception of, oh, hello, how are you? And that consciousness interacts with you. Now, if you wish to get a better communication with that deity, that deva, the nature spirit, whatever it might be, you have to unpack in the same way you did with mental transference skills, psychometry skills. You feel, you relax the matrices apart between your mental body and what you're interacting with, and then as you separate those layers, you start to see, feel, hear what this spiritual intelligence has to say about the interaction between you and it. And it may be just saying hello, it may be reflecting a particular type of light, it may represent a particular dharma, whatever its core purpose for existence is, can reveal itself to you. You've got to separate the matrices between your perceived sense of self and then tune into it, and so your self disappears and you're in resonance with what you're tuned into, and then separate its matrices. Now once you separated its matrices, you get a certain amount of data. Now we want to do the first transformation, releasing of time. Why do we want to do this? Because these beings and all information fields are layered over time. There's these stages of evolution from the past, present, into the future, and this has a purification. All alchemy purifies itself and evolves itself. So you take, this is the being and the way it's in this state, this is where it came from, this is where it's going, this is the evolution of the teachings of that being. And as you release time on it, you move to a vibrational state of resonance in which it becomes relevant to you. The coarseness of the origin, no, that won't be for you. The purity of where it's going, well, that might be too advanced, but you'll get this vibrational match where this is relevant right now to my experience. This is what I can do with this information. And as you release time, you'll find a resonant place in which everything matches up, and you absorb that information, and you generate a personality profile or a filter within you for functional knowledge. That when something comes through, this is how I can apply it now. This is how I can change my life with this information now. That I can share with other people, that they can change their life now. And it's a personality filter that you put in place for when you tune into anything. What's its functional use? Information that just comes in, that's cool, and goes, well, kind of useless. It didn't improve anyone and anything, or you for that matter, in any way. All it did was gave you a cool experience to make you think you knew something. But if the knowledge comes through in such a way that, this is functional, I can apply this, I can be better at a skill because of this, and you apply it that same moment or that same day, then that's a useful skill. And you have to develop a personality that's able to extract information that's relevant to your experience, to your job, to your life's purpose, to interacting with your family and friends, that's useful for you, and it improves the quality of your life instantly. There's a skill in doing that. So we've released time, and we've got this opening, and we have this tuning in to relevant information and functional information. And then we want to reflect that information into our experience, into our life, into its use case, and see the usefulness of it. So we've done all that. Now, how do we implement that? We need to frame it correctly so that we can take that information and put it inside of the mental body as an idea over time. This is how we're going to apply it. This is how we're going to astrally relate to it to give it energy and form. And this is how we're going to act upon it. And then you take that information, you act upon it. So a simple example would be to see the best within the people around you. And so you look at what is the frequency of their best, what is the emotional aspect of that personality profile of their best, and the action is writing down each person you know's best qualities, putting it next to their name, labeling them as this is who they are, and knowing them through their best qualities. So now you've got the mental aspect and the physical there, and every person you know, you write them down that way. So what happens? You seeing them in that way, it's in your mind. So in your mind, your best starts activating, and they unconsciously see you through their best, and the relationship has a high-end frequency connection, and the low end drops away. And this develops very high-quality relationships. So it's a simple principle of the laws of resonance that you can apply very, very quickly and get sudden change in how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you interact with the environment, and so forth. So framing that information, very important. Okay, so we've done the time release, we've brought it into practical use. Then we've got to project it into future function. What does it do in the future? Where does this go? So you've framed it as labeling people's higher frequency qualities and getting to know them that way and feel people's potentiality. And then when you look at it, you release time into the future and see how does this affect me and how does this affect them in that relationship and that technique through that skill, whatever that might be. And then you allow the vision, the feeling of the potentiality of that Dharma, that teaching, that idea to appear within the consciousness. And if you're not very clairvoyant, it's going to come through as a feeling of positivity. It's going to come through a feeling of expanded state of consciousness. It's going to come through as a feeling of, the spirit's alive and active, this is good. Or it may come through as a feeling of collapsing, of, oh, this is dark, this is negative, this isn't going to go to a good place. So whatever that base expansion, contraction, you look at space. Does it expand? Does it contract? You look at feeling. Is it expanding? Is it contracting? Are you growing? Are you opening? You're becoming more sensitive when you tune into that future moment. as you release time on tuning into something. And this has very simple attachment aversion responses that you can read and go, this is good for me, this is not good for me. And you can decide on that simple method of expansion contraction. As you develop more skill, you do those same releases through the visual part of the mind. So you have the idea of what you're tuning into, and then you visually pay attention to the idea, and you release the matrices so that imagery forms. You release the matrix so insight and ideas form. You release the matrix so feelings form. You release the matrices so sound forms. You go through each of the gates. Your primary gates are sight, sound, feeling, and insight. The insight is how it puts it all together as understanding and functional knowledge. And the insight mind, you're always tuning it to usefulness. You want to make every bit of information you gather as something that's useful for you and others. So this mental transference started with just picking up an object and letting my mind become flexible. Put my mind in the object and get outside of myself. And once my mind is so concentrated there that I forget that this body exists, I forget this astral sense of self exists, and then my consciousness becomes the object, then I can put energy into it, move the object further, and go through these stages of developing mental transference. Okay, so the gentleman that emailed me a few days and was asking about mental transference, I hope this video reaches you and it answers some of your questions. And I will see everyone on the next video.